Hey, happy Thursday, everybody. I have Neuro Coffee in hand, and it is perfect. All right.
She had diastasis recti, but over the winter she decided to have surgery.
Okay.
And
To close it, I'm assuming.
yes,
Yeah.
abdominoplasty.
Yeah.
And she started to get what she was going to the physical therapist for is like radiating pain in her neck and down into her arms and back.
No, this happens. Let me. I'm gonna get something else in. So yeah. So what they did is they took the end game compensatory strategy and they built it. So they tightened up her rectus abdominis basically. So they pulled the pubis and the sternum closer together by accident. And so typically, so picture this for a sec. When you have a diastasis recti, the abdominals are going to behave very much like a wide ISA. So the pregnancies will spread the diastasis, right? And chances are it was probably more cosmetic than anything else under most circumstances.
Yeah, she said that.
Yeah, but like if you can get, you know, the old the finger measurement, are you familiar? Where they take your fingers and they say how many fingers wide is your diastasis, and if you get to like 3, they go, you may want to tighten that up. And so chances are they pulled everything in and they pulled it down and in as they closed the diastasis, right? And so you took your wide person and then you pulled the sternum down at the same time. So they tried to close the ISA surgically, okay? And then they pulled it down. So you have to treat this person as such. You're going to have to slowly work them back out of it, and you're going to have to recap. Yeah. So here's an interesting little twist of fate. You're probably going to have to drive them into some form of old school traditional extension.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Getting flexion with an exhalation. So what's going on is she cannot fill the upper rib cage right now at all. So she's getting pulled down, right? Mm-hmm. So her flexion is going to be right limited, and so that's probably going to be your primary KPI as far as how you're going to follow this. Okay, but that's the goal. You're going to have to get air up.
Okay.
Because she's not actively closing the ISA, which is a requirement for flexion. She's literally they created an AP compression, right? So she's getting squished and pulled down. She'll have some form of inversion in her program. Eventually, you're going to want to get her to hang, maybe one arm at a time or something like that, to try to create the expansion upward, but again, monitoring her ability to close the ISA. But you know, stuff like sideline becomes important for her, right? Because you can expand one side, right? So you remember the slinky that I had in the purple room?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to side bend her like a slinky from side to side.
Perfect. I have a GHR, so she can lay to the side.
Yeah, that'd be yeah, exactly. But don't put her prone because it's not going to work. But she's somebody that regardless of what her ISA measurement would be, she has to be able to actively close it to get her arms overhead.
Yeah. What are probably some good activities?
Like an upward dog. Or was it? Is anybody a yoga person on here? Like, it's like a sunrise asana or something where they're looking up. Okay, but so the cool thing here is that your arm position puts you in an ER inhaled position, And but you're also actively closing the ISA. And like I said, it's a little counterintuitive, and it's not about being extreme. It's literally just getting air up into the thorax while you're closing the ISA. So again, that's why you start there, because she probably doesn't have shoulder flexion, and then you start to work upward.
Bill, when you said that you wouldn't put this person in prone, are we talking like all prone positions, like quadruped and prone on elbows? And okay. And
Yeah.
is that because she's gonna crunch down? She's gonna tend to crunch down too much.
Yeah, she's going to try to bend more than expand. So, and again, this is a really common issue with putting people into quadruped anyway. Is that people don't recognize the difference between bending the spine forward and expanding the posterior thorax, because they are not the same. And so what you don't want to do is reinforce the shorter distance between sternum and pubis for her. But under most circumstances, for most people that have not had traumatic incidents and they just have movement related issues, the restrictions are just concentric orientation, right? And so what the table tests represent are the areas that would be most compressed. And so when I have a limitation on the table, I have a compressive strategy that's typically limiting that. And then you have to understand where that compressive strategy is. But if you know where that compressive strategy is, and you know what movement would then be limited because of that, now you can go right into the gym. So you don't have to lay people on the table. You just have to understand how these things work, right? You just have to understand the relationships. And then you go into the gym and you go, oh, you can't do that? So when I ask you to take this kettlebell and press it overhead, you have to go into a side bend to get your hand into the upright position. It's like, oh, okay, so you can't reach overhead. So chances are I have a compressive strategy that's limiting that movement. Where's the compressive strategy going to be? And I say, it's going to be in X spot. And then I go into the gym and I say, well, what activity can I do that doesn't compress that? Right? That's the strategy. That's literally what we do. And so then the exercise or the movement becomes the assessment, right? And the comparator. We just have to get really good at understanding the relationships in regards to the shape change that produces movement. But that's
make it sound super easy, but it's not.
Hey, so
but it could be.
It's simple. It's not easy.
Simple.
It's simple. It's not easy. There's like the rule is very, very simple, right? The rule is you only have two strategies for movement. That's it. There's only two, right? I can make something bigger or I can make something smaller. And based on that shape change, I produce a shape that moves me through space. That's it. Okay. All you got to do is recognize then, if that is the case, if I smush one area, how does it affect my ability to do everything else?